All right, one positive that Australia has taken from this pandemic is the opportunity to work from home and have a more balanced lifestyle. It's fallen perfectly into place with the federal government's decentralisation program, which is aimed at reviving the regions. Now more than ever, Australians are taking up on this opportunity, moving to smaller towns for a cheaper price. Let's bring in the Minister for Decentralisation, a good friend of this show, Andrew Gee. Minister, great to see you tonight. Look, this is becoming a real success story. I'm seeing the fruits of not only your department's labour, but I mean, we've got the Mayor of Kalgoorlie who's, you know, out there poaching people from the city slickers. We've got other towns and cities around regional Australia who are really getting fair income. And the connectivity issue, we had one of the bosses from the NBN on last night saying people are reassessing the way they live their lives now.
Yeah, absolutely. This COVID-19 pandemic has been a real game changer. And the key now is to make sure that this renewed interest in country Australia lasts. I mean, the real estate markets in many regional areas now are booming. And I was speaking to one person yesterday who put their house on the market just up the road from this office in Orange, New South Wales, and it sold within 3 hours. You walk down the street. I went to a restaurant in Orange, New South Wales, just up the road there, and I said, what percentage of your business is local? And they said 30%. And you can see them just walking up and down the streets, not just in Orange, but in Bathurst, in Lithgow, in Mudgee, in Gulgong, in Wellington, everywhere. And, you know, we love them. They call them virus escapees seeking provincial Australia, Vespers. But we want to make sure the Vespers, we want to make sure that the Vespers keep coming. And the trick now is to make sure that we turn this into a golden age of decentralisation, because in the past there has been that great divide between city and country, and one of the big problems has been a divide in knowledge about what lies over the sandstone curtain, the Great Dividing Range in country Australia, and it has so much. I mean, city people have a lot of stuff that we don't have out here. They've got high mortgages, they've got COVID-19 sometimes more than we have. They have got road rage, but out here we've got a great quality of life.
Tolls.
What's that?
Tolls.
Tolls. Yeah.
Mate,
yeah, absolutely.
It's $20 to get from the airport to ride in Sydney on tolls. It's unbelievable.
Doesn't that get in your craw? Doesn't that get you down? Yeah, ching, 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 ching every time you go through the tollways. You haven't got to worry about that out here.
Yeah.
Great jobs, great community, a great way of life. Come out and see us in country Australia. Like, you know, make the most of this. And, you know, it's like the tourism thing as well. I mean, Australians, I think, I read where they spend about, $67 billion on overseas travel every year. Like, and they can't go anywhere at the moment. So they're coming to regional Australia. So I think we're on the cusp of a real awakening here. I've been doing these decentralisation summits at the moment with the business sector, with Regional Development Australia, with the universities. And the aim of the game is to bring all of these ideas together and make sure that we keep this phenomenon going and that we capitalise on it. Also been doing a lot of research and getting the evidence for decentralisation policy. And there is a real appetite out there. We've had Ernst & Young doing some work on this. They've been doing surveys and getting the evidence we need to support our policies. And it's not just small businesses, it's the big businesses and the medium-sized ones. They're all interested in coming to regional Australia.
And Andrew, I know you have a passion for tertiary education. I mean, you're a barrister by profession. Some of the regional universities, you know, Charles Sturt, University of New England in Armidale, they are the centrepiece. They are the heart and soul of those local communities. And they're rising quickly in the rankings around the world, you know, for their dexterity and their ability to attract students. I mean, what are we doing to ensure that those regional universities continue to climb those ladders when it comes to quality of research and education?
Yeah, we've got to back our country universities, Gleeson. There's no doubt about that. They train the future country workforce. They do so much for regional economies, and that's why our Jobs Ready graduate package pumped an extra $400 million into the country university sector, and university places into the future grow at a faster rate for country universities than they do for city universities, and that's a great thing. We've also got a raft of other packages and measures to support country universities, and through the pandemic we backed them with an $18 billion funding guarantee. And so we are determined to make sure that the country university sector remains strong so that they can continue to be that key driver of economic growth and prosperity in country Australia. And I've been talking to some just over the last weeks on different parts of policy. And yeah, it's been a tough run through COVID, but we are going to need our country universities well into the future. And so I think for country Australia, the future is bright, but we've got to keep coming up with these policies to make it last. And that's what I'm determined to do at the moment. Look, there's still institutional resistance to decentralisation, Gleeson. You wouldn't believe it, but there are still plenty of folks in the bureaucracy, for example, who don't want government departments moved out, who don't want money spent in country Australia. And Lord knows there's still the odd MP out there too that believes that. Most of them are city MPs. But I'm hoping that we can keep changing these attitudes by the conversations that we're having, by the evidence that we're gathering, so we can not only get more government departments into country Australia, but more private investment as well, more businesses moving out, because government departments are great. And look, don't worry, I'm doing the rounds of the ministers at the moment and saying we've taken the handbrake, we've made it off decentralisation, we've made it easier for you to move your departments to the country. It's easier to fund those moves now, but we also need to get private decentralisation happening in those firms moving out to country Australia and bringing that investment and that expertise and building capacity in country Australia. And we've got to get into the heads of the critics that it's not just giving a leg up to country Australia. I mean, we're doing that, but we're building capacity. We're building capacity in communities in regional Australia so that they endure into the long term. And they've just got to understand it, Gleeson. But look, we're getting there. And in a lot of cases, the public are voting with their feet. We love seeing them traipse around our regional centres. They probably wear more black clothes than we do out here in the country. But look, we'll take it. Come and visit us. We love you.
We'll take it. Exactly.
Bring the black clothes. We love you. Skivvies, we'll take black skivvies.
We love you. Indeed, indeed. All right, Andrew G. Great to see you tonight. Thanks for joining us on the show.
Have a great weekend, everyone. And don't forget, come out to country Australia. We love you and we want you out here.